धीमहि धियो यो नमः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नमः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय
बोलो भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण
जय राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण
जय राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय
बोलो भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम,
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम,
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम,
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे
राम राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय
बोलो भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण
जय राम कृष्ण जय राधे कृष्ण जय,
राम कृष्ण जय राधे
कृष्ण जय राम कृष्ण जय बोलो,
भज मन राम कृष्ण जय बोलो।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम,
रघुकुल भूषण राम 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 माधव गोविंद श्याम श्याम श्याम।
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम,
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम,
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम,
हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम।
राम रामकृष्ण जय बोलो।
भज मन रामकृष्ण जय बोलो। ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
ओम नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये।
शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये।
शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये।
शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये।
नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये।
शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये।
ये रे पंगालने कनगा सावेदने। ये रे पंगालने कनगा सावेदने। तू किए पादने अंबल तरसे। तू किए पादने अंबल तरसे। मूवरिन मुडलवा परमेश्वने। मूवरिन मुडलवा परमेश्वने। तव शेका मनिये। तव शेका मनिये। ओम तव शेका मनिये। ओम तव शेका मनिये। नदराजा तव शेका मनिये। शिवराजा आर्मुगं तण्डये। ये रे पंगालने कनगा सवेदने। ये रे पंगालने कनगा सवेदने। तू किए पादने अंबल तरसे। मूवरिन मुडलवा परमेश्वने। तव शेका मनिये। तव शेका मनिये। ओम तव शेका मनिये। ओम तव शेका मनिये। नदराजा तव शेका मनिये।
ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा। गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म गुरु महाराज जय जय। निर्विकार निराकार परमहंस जय जय। युगाचार्य देव देव रामकृष्ण जय जय। ब्रह्म ब्रह्मशक्ति ब्रह्मविद्या शारदाम्ब जय जय सरस्वती महामाया मातृदेवी जय जय विश्वगुरु दिव्य शौर्य विवेकानंद जय जय रामकृष्ण भावपुत्र ब्रह्मानंद जय जय महापुरुष महायोगी शिवानंद जय जय जगन्मात्र प्रीतिपुत्र योगानंद जय जय दिव्य योगी महात्यागी तुरीयानंद जय जय प्रेम रूप शांति दाता प्रेमानंद जय जय परमहंस दाता दाता अद्भुतानंद जय जय गुणशील गुणातीत त्रिगुणातीत जय जय सदा कर्म मर्मदर्शि अभेदानंद जय जय विश्वप्रेमी विमल हृदय अखंडानंद जय जय नित्य योगी सुनिर्मल निरंजनानंद जय जय बाल भाव बालशील सुबोधानंद जय जय परमहंस कृपा पात्र अद्वैतानंद जय जय ज्ञान रूप शांत भाव विज्ञानानंद जय जय मात्र भक्त मात्र सेवी शारदानंद जय जय राम कृष्ण सेवा प्रेमी शशि महाराज जय जय राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण जय जय राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण राम कृष्ण जय जय सकल देव देवता सर्वदेव जय जय सत्ययुग अवतार राम कृष्ण जय 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 राम कृष्ण जय 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 गुरु महाराज जय जय गुरु महाराज जय जय गुरु महाराज जय जय ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय
ॐ ऐं सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय श्रीरामकृष्णाय नमः. Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters, brothers and loving children. Today is a very auspicious day as Hindus throughout the world celebrate Guru Purnima. The great sage Vedavyasa was born on this holy day and is revered as the first Guru of all Hindus. Thus, during full moon in July each year, we pay homage to our Gurus who give us the ultimate knowledge of the divine self or the Atman within. Few people search for the higher purpose of life. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my goal in life? Through the grace of God, we look for answers to these deep spiritual questions. God is seated in our hearts, but because of ignorance, we cannot see Him. In chapter 10, verse 18 of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, "O Krishna, please tell me again in detail of your power and glory, for I am never satisfied by listening to your nectar-like words." Among the many descriptions that the Lord gives of His glory, He adds, "I am the Self seated in the hearts of all. Of words, I am Om. Of sacrifices, I am Japa. Of immovable things, the Himalayas. And of rivers, I am the Ganges." In chapter 11, Arjuna makes this request, "O Lord, I desire to see your divine form." Shri Krishna agrees to reveal his glorious form to Arjuna, but adds, "You cannot see me with these eyes of yours. I give you divine sight." This means that we cannot behold the divine being with our physical eyes. The Guru blesses us with spiritual eyes to behold God. Arjuna experiences the awe-inspiring vision of brilliant light, like the splendor of 1,000 suns blazing forth all at once in the sky. This reminds us of Sri Ramakrishna's vision of Madakali, when the Master saw waves of unending, magnificent light in every direction. Through years of intense spiritual austerities, which purify the heart and mind, one acquires inner vision. Saint Kabir is one of the world's greatest poets who lived in Benares during the 15th century. He was wise, humble, and a loving devotee of God. He wanted to be initiated by the renowned sadhu Swami Ramananda. However, he doubted whether the saint would initiate him, since Kabir was a weaver. Kabir thought of a clever plan. He knew that the sadhu went to bathe in the Ganges every day. So, one day, when the sadhu was returning after his bath, Kabir deliberately sat on the pathway. The sadhu did not see him in the dark, and as soon as his feet touched Kabir, he called out, "Ram, Ram." Kabir immediately took this to be his mantra and felt that the sage had initiated him. This type of strong faith and determination take us to God. In this modern age, everything must be proved scientifically. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "Of all sciences, I am the science of the self." This means that we must look within to know who we are. We are not the body, mind, and senses. These change constantly and can never give us infinite joy. We are the Atman, which is eternal. So, infinite peace is found in the Atman. A verse in the Guru Stotram says, "Salutations to the Sri Guru who, with the collyrium stick of knowledge, has opened the eyes of one blinded by the disease of ignorance." What is this ignorance? It is being attached to the things and people of the world, which is transitory. Nothing in this world is everlasting. God alone, who pervades this universe, is permanent. Sri Ramakrishna explains the 7 levels of consciousness. He advises that devotees must keep their minds and thoughts on the higher planes of consciousness. Then we are transformed from human to divine. Meditate on God in the heart or on the forehead. When we sit to do japa, feel God's presence in your heart and think that He is present on the top of your head. This helps concentration and enables us to feel the presence of your deity within. Sri Ramakrishna says that when we concentrate on the throat area or on the head, then through practice we will see a beautiful light. Then we will not want to hear worldly talks, but will glorify God. As we continue this practice, we will make steady progress. Our Guruji, Sri Swami Shivapadananji Maharaj, used to ask, why is it essential to have a Guru? You will find everything in the scriptures, so why go to a Guru? You see, if you read a law, you think you know what it means. But when you go to a lawyer, he knows the true meaning and explains it correctly to you. So, merely by reading the scriptures, we cannot understand its true meaning. We will give our own interpretation to what we read. The Guru is a knower of Brahman. He has experienced the living presence of God and realizes the true meaning of the scriptures. Therefore, we need a Guru to explain the meaning correctly. As you practice meditation, many obstacles cloud the mind. Doubts, too, can confuse you. The Guru understands these difficulties and guides you forward. Dwell on the name and radiant form of your deity. This will drive away bad thoughts. A good thought replaces the bad one. If you cannot avoid the bad thought, be a witness to it. Then you will not identify yourself with it. The witness and the thought are two different things. Do not think, I am angry, but think that the mind is angry. Then gradually you will learn that you are not the body-mind complex. You are the Atman, the eternal witness, which is ever free. The scriptures say that 3 things are a rare blessing which we acquire through God's grace. Firstly, a human birth. Secondly, the desire to know God. And thirdly, the company of a realized soul. After attaining a human birth, not everyone strives for perfection. Not all are eager to gain freedom or moksha. Finally, it is only through divine grace that we meet a realized soul who can guide us on the spiritual path. The sacred mantra given by the Guru at the time of initiation is full of divine energy and symbolizes Brahman. The more we repeat the mantra, the purer the mind becomes. When the mind becomes completely pure, it is transformed into the nature of the Ishtadevata, the chosen ideal. Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda are amazing gurus because they guide the disciples through their own example. They teach us how to attain spiritual wisdom. They are not in the physical body now, but still they continue to inspire hundreds of devotees on the spiritual path. The Guru is the link between the devotee and God. Sri Ramakrishna says, like a true matchmaker, the Guru joins the devotee to God. Once, when Sri Sarada Devi was traveling to Kolkata, she had to wait for the train at the Vishnupur station. Suddenly, a simple porter came running to her and said, "You are my Janaki, you are my Sita. How long I have been searching for you. Where have you been all this time?" With these words, he began to weep profusely. The Holy Mother consoled him, asked him to bring a flower to offer to her, and initiated him on the station platform. Swami Vivekananda says, we must have faith in ourselves, then faith in God, and faith in the mantra. Faith in ourself means having faith that the divine is within us. Before planting the seeds of any crop, the soil has to be prepared. To get a good crop, we must remove the stones, the weeds, and prepare the soil well. The Master's disciples had practiced many austerities and yearned for God. Thus, when they met the Master, they were ready to receive spiritual instructions. They practiced the teachings and were completely transformed into divine beings. Sri Ramakrishna demonstrates how the Guru helps us. He says, once an expert magician was entertaining people at a magic show. He had a long rope with many knots and requested anyone from the audience to untie the knots. Many tried, but all of them failed. Then the magician smiled, took the rope in his hand, and with 1 or 2 jerks, untied all the knots. He was an expert in his field and knew the art of what to do. So, in no time, he succeeded in untying the knots. Similarly, a saint or an incarnation of God unties the knots of ignorance in our hearts and guides us forward. Rasik was a sweeper in the temple garden of Dakshineshwar. He was poor and unknown to the temple visitors. Rasik did not even enter the temple. He was illiterate, but his simple, guileless, and innocent heart told him that the Master was not an ordinary person. Sri Ramakrishna's nephew Ramlal related how the compassionate Master bestowed his infinite grace on this sincere devotee. Rasik observed that many people visited the Master each day. He pondered, I am so close to the Master, yet I cannot go to his room and touch his feet. The Master is saving so many souls. How unfortunate am I! I see him from a distance, but cannot go near him. This storm raged in his mind for some years, and he had no peace. One day, the Master went to the pine grove, and Ramlal was waiting near the Panchavati, the grove of 5 sacred trees. Rasik hid himself behind a tree and thought, I cannot bear this any longer. Today I must go to the Master. When Rasik saw the Master returning, he hurriedly fell on the pathway, grabbed the Master's feet and exclaimed, Father, what will happen to me? The Master was startled and became absorbed in God thought, in samadhi. When he returned to the normal state, the Master touched Rasik's head and said, You have achieved everything. These nectar-like words of the Master filled Rasik's heart with infinite joy and peace. Once, Sri Ramakrishna pointed to Rasik and told Ramlal, Rasik is not an insignificant person. He is a divine being in a human form. The Master told Rasik that God dwells in his heart. It was his good fortune to have the job of sweeping the temple grounds and steps, where thousands of devotees come to worship in the shrines. The master asked him to plant a tulsi grove in his garden and chant the Lord's name there. 2 years after the master left his body, Ramlal met Rasik's wife. Sobbing inconsolably, she told him that her husband was very ill and spent most of his time chanting the Lord's name. One day, Rasik asked his family to take him to the Tulsi Grove. He lay on a mat, holding his japamala, and asked them to chant God's name. After some time, his face brightened. Smiling, he exclaimed, "Ah, you have come at last. How beautiful and magnificent." He closed his eyes. There was a halo around his radiant face as he fell into eternal sleep. Rasik's simple life demonstrates that work is worship, and each person is great in his or her own place. We wish everyone a very blessed and happy Guru Purnima. The Guru is the embodiment of Brahman and can never die. Our revered Guru is with us birth after birth. By the Guru's grace, may we have a calm and clear mind so that we can chant our mantra regularly, meditate and progress Godward. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanam Astu.
Om Bhavasagar Taran Karan He Ravinandana Bandhan Khandan He Sharanagat Kinkar Bhitamane Guru Deva Daya Kar भास्कर हे तुमी विष्णु प्रजापति शंकर हे परब्रह्म परात्पर वेद बने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने मनवारण शासन अंकुश है नरत्राण तरे हरि चाक्षुष है गुणगान परायण देवगणे गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने कुलकुंडलिनी घुम भंजक है हृदि ग्रंथि विदारण कारक है मम मानस चंचल रात्र दिने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने रिपुसूदन कहे चित शंकित वंचित भक्ति दहे गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने तव नाम सदा शुभ साधक है पतिताधम मानव पावक है महिमा तव गोचर शुद्ध मने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने जय सद्गुरु ईश्वर प्रापक है भवरोग विकार विनाशक है मन ये न रहे तव श्री चरणे गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने गुरुदेव दया कर दीन जने ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters, brothers, and loving children. As we meditate, let us concentrate on the radiant form of our Guru. Salutations to the Guru, who is established in knowledge and power, who is adorned with the garland of knowledge, and who grants both worldly prosperity and liberation. Glory to Sri Ramakrishna, who is like a bridge to cross over the ocean of this world, and who is the Guru, the spiritual teacher of all spiritual aspirants. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ॐ तत्सत्।
जय श्री गुरु महाराज की
जय।
महामाई की
जय।
स्वामी जी महाराज की
जय।
गंगा मात की
जय।
महावीर स्वामी जी की
जय।
सर्व ऋषि मुनीन की
जय। पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव की जय। ओम नमो नारायणाय।
Om Namo Narayanaya. On this auspicious occasion of Guru Purnima, it is fitting to look at some of the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, a world leader who, after more than a century, continues to inspire the world at large. Swamiji had a wonderful personality and a great sense of humor. He would keep his companions entertained for hours on end with jokes and mimicry. He loved playing with children, rolling in the mud with them, laughing, shouting, and getting dirty. He loved ice cream and would be impatient till it was served. He wrote beautiful letters expressing his thoughts, plans, passions, and sufferings. The teachings of Swami Vivekananda are universal and meant for all. Swamiji's teachings are practical, powerful, and pertinent to today's lifestyle. He himself practiced what he taught. His words instill self-confidence and courage to face the problems of life. They fill our hearts with love and the spirit of service and guide us through the uncertainties of life. It has been said that if you are lying down and reading Swamiji's work, you will instantly sit upright. If you are sitting and reading his writings, then you will stand up. And if you read while standing, you will at once set out towards your mission. This is nothing but the influence of Swami Vivekananda's inspiring teachings. Due to time constraints, we will look broadly at three. The first teaching relates to goal setting. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. These were the famous words with which Swamiji roused the sleeping souls of India. The people of India had become physically, mentally, and spiritually weakened and had lost their sense of self-worth. Swamiji, with his powerful teachings, reawakened and re-energized the nation. This filled them with inspiration, hope, and courage. Such was the power of Swamiji's words, which are just as relevant today as it was then. Swamiji advises, the calmer we are and the less disturbed our nerves, the more shall we love and the better will our work be. As students, you have to complete your studies, and this requires hard work. Be self-disciplined and focus on your studies. Be confident and have courage. No one wants to be stagnant or unproductive. In order to have a break, you can give some time to watching television or chatting on your phone. But remember that your full potential must be on your studies. Naturally, if you want to achieve something big, you must stop not till the goal is reached. To succeed, you must have tremendous perseverance, tremendous willpower. Have that sort of will, work hard, and you will reach the goal. Swamiji's teachings inspire our youth to be positive and to change so that their lives are meaningful. In order for youth to be assets to society, they must develop good characters and be strong. He exclaims, take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Nelson Mandela encourages us when he says, I never lose, I either win or I learn. Youth and children must mold their lives carefully and develop good characters. Our best example is Swamiji. The next important teaching of Swamiji is the need for concentration in order to succeed. Swamiji's power of concentration was amazing. Once, when Swami Vivekananda was in America, he was watching some boys shooting with their guns. They were standing on the bridge trying to shoot at some eggshells, which were floating in the river. But their marksmanship was bad and they could not hit the shells. Swamiji smiled when he saw them miss the mark every time. They saw him smiling at their failure and felt annoyed. They told him that it was not easy and asked him to try to shoot the shells. Swamiji had never handled a gun before. He took the gun and aimed. The boys were surprised to see that he successfully hit about a dozen eggshells. They thought that an expert had trained Swamiji. They were amazed to learn that he had never fired a gun before. His success was due to his ability to concentrate. Swamiji says, "Whatever you are doing, put your whole mind to it. If you are shooting, your whole mind should be on the target. Then you will never miss. Concentration can work wonders. If you are learning your lessons, which means study, think only of the lesson. In my country, youth are taught to do this." The third lesson we learned from Swamiji is to be bold, be strong, be brave. The following examples are taken from Swamiji's life. Naren saves his friend. Once Naren and his friend went to a fair where they bought images of Lord Shiva. On the way back, they were separated. Naren looked for his friend but could not find him. Suddenly, he heard the galloping of horses. Naren looked in that direction and realized that his friend was about to be trampled by the horses. In a split second, he dashed to save his friend by pulling him to safety. He was just in time. Everyone who saw this was wonderstruck at young Naren's brave deed. At another time, he saved a mother and a child from being run over by a carriage. He pulled the child out of danger with one hand and the mother with the other hand. His actions always showed quick thinking, courage, and strength. If we are in similar situations, try not to panic. Be calm and think about ways to help the situation. Thus, we can be saved. Naren controls a wild horse. Often in an emergency, we get excited and cannot think clearly. If we are able to control our minds, we will have the ability to do the right thing at the right time and will not suffer. Naren had a wonderful mind. His unique life showed that he was utterly selfless and lived to help people. One day, as Naren was walking down the street, there was a sudden commotion. A horse drawing a carriage was speeding past like lightning. Everyone became frightened as they saw that a lady was in the carriage. She was helpless and terrified. The alarmed onlookers gazed in amazement, but did not know what to do. Young Naren immediately understood the danger of the situation. He ran towards the carriage as fast as he could, jumped onto it, and taking hold of the horse's reins, successfully brought it under control. The lady's joy knew no bounds. She thanked the brave and valiant Naren for saving her life. Helping a sailor. Naren was mentally alert and physically strong. He would visit a gymnasium regularly and practiced various types of physical exercises. He was a responsible young man, so he was entrusted with the task of managing the gymnasium. One day, while Naren and his friends were trying to set up a heavy trapeze, some people gathered to help. An English sailor also offered to assist the boys. Unfortunately, the trapeze fell on the sailor as they were lifting it. The sailor was severely injured and became unconscious. Fearing that the sailor was dead, all except Naren and a few of his friends ran away. The bold young Naren acted immediately. He and his friends rendered first aid to the sailor. Naren tore a piece of his own dhoti, wearing cloth, to bandage the wound. He sprinkled some water on the sailor's face and they fanned him gently. When the sailor regained consciousness, Naren and his friends took him to a nearby hospital. The sailor spent a long time in hospital. Naren collected some money from his friends and neighbors which he gave to the sailor when he was discharged. Narayan later said, "Don't be afraid, you gain nothing by being cowards." This quality of facing challenges boldly was evident in him from his childhood. We too must be fearless and face our challenges boldly. Instead of running away from our difficulties, we should try to solve them. The enemies of today are different from the enemies of Swamiji's time. Today, we are faced with peer pressure and a society ravaged by substance abuse, gambling, and criminal behavior, to name a few. Falling into bad company can alter our attitude and self-belief and derail our goal. To become and remain a positive person, you must surround yourself with good people. People who work hard for themselves and in turn want the best for you. People you can learn from and evolve with. Kind-hearted people who enrich the lives of those around them. In the end, you're the only one who's responsible for your own happiness. Nurture the relationships that foster positive and mutual growth. It's the path to an enlightened you. So choose your company wisely. We are fortunate to belong to the ashram family, where we are under the guidance of revered Mataji and in contact with loving and caring devotees with a common purpose. In these uncertain times, this helps foster positivity and love, which I am certain we all require in bucket loads. On this auspicious occasion, we wish all devotees a happy Guru Purnima and thank Mataji for her loving support, always. Om Namo Narayana.